Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Palace Podcast. I am your host today, Dan Tanner. This is, I think, my fourth or fifth one this week. So, yeah, let's get right down to it. It's been a long week of podcasting. At some point, I will take a break. I know I will. We'll get the weekend out of the way and then we go from there. So, and talking of this weekend, we've got the preview to the Ipswich game today. So, going to relatively quickly through the team news, especially on the Palace side. There is some more Mateta news, more transfer gossip that has come out a couple of hours ago. So we're going to have a little bit of a back and forth in that. And then finally, probably repeating myself on the score prediction and how I think the game's going to go. But as a football podcaster, about 45 to 50% of the things I'm going to say on this are I'm probably repeating myself multiple times. I'm probably going to repeat myself doing this. So we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, keep a little bingo card for every time I repeat myself. But to start with, we're going to go with team news. And besides the usual team news of the long-term injuries that Palace have had, which we keep bringing up, but they're still part of the team news, so we kind of have to keep doing that. The other notable ones are the obvious. Jean-Philippe Mateta will probably not be in the squad. Most likely won't be in the squad from what Glasner was saying in the press conference not only a little over an hour ago as of this recording. He's relaxing at home, going through essentially a concussion protocol, which I think the FA brought in a couple of years ago just to sort of make sure that sort of when a player goes down with a head injury, there is ample time to recovery, as we're still not entirely sure what happens when there is an injury to the head. So it's better safe than sorry. So he's relaxing at home. He might be in the stadium. He might come and go into the director's box or something and watch it from the sidelines. But I wouldn't expect him on the bench. But probably back in training, probably after the weekend, Monday, maybe Tuesday. So hopefully it's all okay and there is no long-term effects. But as from the hospital scans and everything, they all came back clean, so we're all fairly confident that everything is fine. The other notable absentee this week is going to be Will Hughes, which is a little bit more, maybe not more of a sort of thing to the team, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a workaround, as Hughes over the last couple of months has been a real star of the team, has really been sort of pushing forward for that leadership role, etc. I've been bigging him up ever since he's sort of the Man City game. So, and yeah, again, that's me repeating myself again. So that's one in the bingo card. The next he's been going to get a two match ban for collecting 10 cautions, so 10 yellow cards over the course of the season. That's just going to be sort of annoying, but this is why it's a team game. So with those absences of Mateta and Will Hughes, will step up Nketiah up front, probably playing alongside Eze and Ismail Assar. I think it could be a quite interesting sort of dynamic there. You won't have the powerhouse of Mateta barreling forward and pushing over sort of defenders or anything like that, but we might get a little bit more intricate play. Sarr will probably be required to sort of be a little bit more of the target man, I think. But I think it's going to be an interesting one, because Nketiah does need to get some minutes under his belt. He needs a good 70-ish, some 70, 80, even a full game or two to get kind of into form and maybe sort of give Mateta some actual kind of competition for the attacking role. He's got 2 goals in the last couple of games, so his confidence is going to be up there. He's going to be up for this. And with Will Hughes out of position, out for a couple of games, Wharton is probably going to start, which he's been doing already so far. But I think he's going to be playing more of a full game, playing a bit more of that playmaker, which is kind of what we've been looking for and what he's probably there to do. Also, you're probably going to get probably as well playing in that central midfield with him will probably be Lerma pushing sort of as those sort of initial midfield partnership. You might even get Kamada, might even get a little bit of game time as well. I think probably Kamada will probably be the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, just to sort of either try and finish it off or just to be a little bit more of a creative threat. He's not much of a, say, physical specimen when it comes to it, but very technically gifted player, I think. I think he just needs a little bit, like Nketiah, just needs a good few games under his belt to just get moving, really. I think that's more or less, besides from the long-term injuries that have been plaguing us are still going to be in effect. So Riyadh, Decore, and Ward are still no longer available. So with that, I think we'll take a quick break and thank our sponsor here at Global Sports Podcast Network. And after that, we're going to talk even more Mateta with some transfer news that's come out in the last few hours. So we'll be right back after this.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
And we are back with the Daily Palace podcast brought to you by Global Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host today, Dan Tanner. I'm all on my own, so nobody gets to stop me talking. Yay! Right, the next, and I did promise some more Mateta news. So, the more news out from the gossip pages of the BBC, The Sun, and all these other reputable sources is that Mateta is apparently on the radar of Man United, which, to nobody's great surprise, as they are still looking for a Premiership quality centre forward. As they are struggling. There's no two ways about it. They are massively under the cosh, and I think they need a good sort of centre forward of Premiership quality, which Mateta is at the moment. I think as it stands, he probably is the on-form striker in the Premiership, if not but definitely the top 5 strikers in the league at the moment. It also probably helps that he got a couple of goals against Man United at Old Trafford recently. So yeah, that probably didn't go unnoticed. But this also comes in the same week where Wharton was scouted, in quotation marks, by Real Madrid, which I'm still not totally convinced is what if he actually was scouted or not, but it's reported, so there's a decent chance that it was. But this interest also sparked interest from Man United again, because who else? And the Arsenal are also apparently looking at Wharton. But this is just kind of what happens with the top teams in the UK and around the world. As soon as one of them takes an interest in a player from one of these sort of middle teams, they all go up like meerkats, like, ooh, what's that over there? That must be something. He must be good. He must be. And yeah, so supposedly Palace have put a 40, 50 million price tag on him. But it's just some of this gets a bit silly. It is only March. There's still a couple of months left. But back to Mateta. This one, I'm kind of not sure on, mainly because, well, for Mateta, it's kind of a sideways move. It's maybe not even sideways move. It's a slight downgrade if you want sort of performance-wise. I know Man United are a sort of glory team. They're a big team. They've got all the resources they could ever need, etc. Could get a bit of a pay rise, etc. But you can't help ignore that they are struggling big time. So for next season, I would expect them to have kind of the same problem that Chelsea had a couple of years ago when they didn't make the Champions League. Was there's going to be a fire sale. There is going to be an absolute rebuild for the next year or two. And yeah, I don't think Mateta would kind of want to be a part of that. Why do that when he's already at a club that is going to be kind of fighting out mid-ish table anyway, maybe even pushing a bit further? And also the fact of, at the moment, I know this is a slightly long shot and maybe hyperbole and wishful thinking, but Palace have a slightly better chance of getting European football than Man United at the moment. One, we're slightly higher up the league, but we've got a pretty nasty back sort of 10 fixtures. We've got to play City, Liverpool and Arsenal, I think, maybe even Chelsea in there. Chelsea or Newcastle, one or the other. So that's going to be interesting. But we're also still in a cup run. There is still a distinct possibility of us winning the FA Cup, which is a European spot. So I don't know why you would even consider that at this point. But that also being said, it is March. It's still 2 or 3 months before the transfer window opens up again. So this is all of this stuff is theoretical and just sort of theory. Basically, none of it's anywhere confirmed or denied or in any kind of writing, shape or form. So we just have to watch his space. But for Mateta, I think he'll be perfectly fine here at Palace. I don't know why you would want to go to Man United, because at this point, as I said a minute ago, it's a sideways move, much in the same way as a lot of the other Palace players are linked to bigger clubs like Gahey to Newcastle or Chelsea. It's a sideways move at best. Eze to Spurs, a sideways move at best. So some of these big clubs aren't as sort of prestigious as they used to be. So we'll just, yet again, have to watch this space. But just another run-of-the-mill week where a Palace player is being linked to a top side. And with that, I think we'll take another quick break to thank our provider here at Zencastr. And then we will do the score prediction and game prediction, what I think will happen. Very much reiterating what I've already said on the crossover. But just in case you didn't hear it, you get to hear it again. So we'll be right back after this. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description below to learn more about Zencastr. And we are back with the final part of the Daily Palace podcast, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dan Tanner, and we're now going to go into score predictions. So, if you did hear my sort of the crossover, this won't be a big surprise. If not, it's all new to you. So, I said on the crossover, I think it will be 2-1 to Palace. Maybe slightly leaning towards 3, but I think it's probably more likely to be a 2-1 victory to Palace. I would expect these goals to probably come some point in the second half, somewhere after the 50th minute, maybe 65 will be the first one, as Palace don't exactly come screaming out of the tunnel going at sort of top gear at full throttle. It's first half is very much contain the ball, make sure the opposition can't get past you, and hit on the counter. So, and without kind of Mateta being there, being the big powerhouse, it may be a little bit tougher to do. And it may be sort of a little bit more of passing it out. It might not be doing full, almost route one counter football. But this is going to be good. I think it's still going to be a victory for Palace. We need to sort of kind of push forward and make sure we can sort of secure this mid-table position and maybe even try and get sort of into the top 10. You probably, even if you were a neutral and sort of watching this game, you would probably think Palace would be the favourites. Just kind of on a form alone, we are one of the informed teams. The only but in this sort of equation is the fact that it's a home game. And we have not got the best track record when it comes to our home form. Besides from the recent victories against Villa and the FA Cup victory, we have only got 11 points from home, which is kind of embarrassing, really. Yeah, some statistic that 67% of our points have been away from Selhurst Park. So if we can try and get a little bit more even, a couple more wins at home, especially against teams like Ipswich, because in our last 10 games, as I mentioned earlier, we've got City, we've got Arsenal, we've got Liverpool in the last game of the season. So if we can get some points off some of the relegation battle teams, I think it will go a long way to securing that sort of mid-table and even push up forward. But with that, I think we will leave it there. If you've listened this far, thank you very much. Give us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening to this on your podcast. Don't forget to check us out on the YouTube channel. Give us a like, give us a comment. Tell us how bad we are. Tell us why we shouldn't be doing this job, whatever. They all count. So until next time, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.